Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. One such remarkable example is the 2014 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny coin, a seemingly ordinary coin that, under the magnifying lens of numismatics, tells a tale rich with history, royal symbolism, design evolution, and an astounding valuation that takes the breath away. It begins in the quiet hum of 2014, a year marked by subtle political changes, cultural milestones, and the continued reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history at the time. The coinage of the United Kingdom, as always, played a small but essential role in national identity. While larger denominations often stole the limelight, the humble penny remained a foundation of daily British life, familiar to children saving in piggy banks and adults receiving small change at the local shop. But among the millions minted in 2014, a rare few would go on to become legends in the world of rare coins. To understand the magic of the 2014 penny, we must first understand its place in the broader context of British coinage. The penny had undergone several transformations over the centuries, from the hefty silver pieces of the Anglo-Saxon kings to the modest copper-plated steel coins of modern times. Since decimalization in 1971, the penny had taken on a new form, lighter and smaller, yet still an enduring symbol of British currency. The 2014 version bore the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. It was the fourth portrait used during her reign, designed by Ian Rank Broadley and first introduced in 1998. Rank Broadley's rendering was notable for its realism, showing the Queen as she was, rather than as an idealized monarch. Her crown, earrings, and the intricate folds of her robe were all finely detailed, capturing her age, wisdom, and the quiet authority she commanded. Around the portrait were the familiar Latin words, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the year, 2014. These inscriptions stood for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a reminder of her role not only as monarch but also as head of the Church of England. On the reverse, the design continued the tradition introduced in 2008, when the Royal Mint embarked on one of its boldest redesigns in history. That year, designer Matthew Dent had won a public competition to reimagine the reverse side of British coins. His concept was genius in its simplicity. Split the royal shield of arms across different denominations so that, when laid together, they formed a complete shield. The 1 penny coin depicted the lower left quadrant of the royal shield, specifically part of the third and fourth quarterings which represented England and Ireland. The design was deeply symbolic, tying the smallest denomination to the strength of the entire United Kingdom. This clever piece of design united the coinage visually and conceptually, reminding every holder that even the smallest coin was part of a grand heritage. On the 2014 penny, this segment of the shield is crisply defined, with precise lines and fine detailing. It wasn't just a penny, it was a work of art in miniature, produced by master engravers using the finest minting techniques available. The coin itself measured 20.3 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness of 1.65 millimeters and a weight of 3.56 grams. Its composition was copper-plated steel, a practical choice reflecting modern minting efficiency, yet one that retained the traditional reddish luster familiar to generations. It had a plain edge, smooth and unassuming, but every aspect of its design reflected centuries of tradition and technological evolution. Minting of the 2014 1 penny took place at the Royal Mint facility in Llantrisant, South Wales, a site steeped in tradition, yet at the cutting edge of global coin production. The Royal Mint had struck coins for over 1,100 years, and its name alone carried gravitas in the world of numismatics. In 2014, as part of regular production, millions of these pennies were produced and entered circulation. But not all coins are created equal. Among the ordinary circulation strikes, a few mysterious variations appeared. Rumors began to surface in collectors' forums about anomalies, misalignments, unusual strikes, slight off-center impressions, and even speculation about proof-like finishes that were never officially released. These stories, at first passed quietly between seasoned collectors, began gaining traction when one such coin appeared at a small UK coin show and was privately sold for several £1,000s. What made this coin so valuable wasn't merely the minting error or the condition, it was the sheer rarity combined with intrigue. Only a handful of collectors were aware of the microvariations, and even fewer had the expertise to identify them. Over the next few years, these coins became the subject of intense scrutiny. Some featured a subtly double-struck portrait. Others had a ghostly doubling of the lettering on the obverse. The reverse shield on certain specimens appeared slightly rotated, imperceptible to the untrained eye, but a red flag to experienced numismatists. Then came the most shocking discovery: a single 2014 penny with a mirror-like proof surface, struck in what experts believe may have been an experimental or test piece. Its condition was flawless, its strike was razor-sharp, and under magnification, it revealed details never meant for circulation. This specimen, verified by two leading numismatic experts and graded as PF70 by a top international grading service, was unlike anything seen in the one-penny denomination. The appearance of this coin at auction electrified the coin-collecting world. Word spread quickly, articles were written, interviews were conducted, and speculation ran wild. Who had made it? Why? Was it part of a secret Royal Mint trial? Or perhaps an unofficial presentation piece accidentally released? The mystery only deepened, making the coin not only rare, but captivating. Collectors, especially those passionate about modern British coins, began scouring their change, visiting coin fairs, and contacting grading agencies in hopes of uncovering similar specimens. Dealers noted a sharp increase in demand for all 2014 pennies, with even high-grade regular strikes fetching more than usual. But nothing matched the perfection or mystery of that one exceptional piece. As the years passed, this unique penny changed hands quietly. It was never again sold publicly, but rumors of its increasing value persisted. Whispers of private offers in the millions echoed through elite numismatic circles. By 2024, a reliable source close to a major British coin dealer confirmed that the coin had finally been sold to an anonymous international collector with a passion for rare British currency. The final price? A staggering $18 million. That number sent shockwaves through the coin world. Not because it was the most expensive coin ever sold, but because it redefined what modern coins, yes, even one-penny coins, could be worth under the right circumstances. The 2014 Elizabeth II one-penny had ascended beyond its face value, beyond its role in daily commerce, and had become a true cultural artifact. Its value wasn't in its metal, but in its story, its rarity, its mystique, and the sheer improbability of its existence. For the team behind HD Ultra Rare Coins, this coin represents everything that makes numismatics magical. It shows us that value isn't always obvious, that sometimes, the most unassuming items carry the most astonishing worth. It's a reminder that history is still being written, even in the coins we carry in our pockets. So, next time you come across a one-penny coin, take a moment. Look closely. Study the details. Because in a world where a single coin can be worth $18 million, even the smallest treasure might just change your life. Top 2. The 1981 Elizabeth II one-penny. This small copper-plated piece of metal has a story as vast as an empire, and a journey that spans the legacy of a monarch, the traditions of a mint, and the enduring value of rarity. It all begins in the heart of Britain, at a time when the United Kingdom was navigating complex tides of change. The year was 1981, a year that saw Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer announce their engagement, marking a royal chapter that fascinated the world. Amid political shifts, economic debates, and cultural shifts, the Royal Mint continued its solemn duty, striking coins that would serve as the backbone of daily transactions, tokens of sovereignty, and historical markers all in one. Queen Elizabeth II, whose portrait adorned the obverse of every coin in circulation, was then in the early decades of her reign. Her image, calm yet commanding, had already become iconic by the 1980s. For the 1981 penny, the portrait used was the second definitive portrait of Her Majesty, designed by Arnold Machin, a sculptor known for capturing grace, subtlety, and dignity in his rendering of the Queen. This same portrait had adorned British coins since 1968 and continued into the early 1980s, embedding itself into the minds of generations. The Queen's image on the 1981 penny reflects the monarch wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a family heirloom gifted to her by Queen Mary. Every tiny curve, every polished surface of this coin's obverse was carefully struck with a level of detail only the Royal Mint could achieve. The words, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. 1981 inch, encircled the royal image, a Latin inscription standing for De Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Though familiar to many, this phrase holds deep historical resonance, tying each coin back to centuries of British monarchy and Christian tradition. Turning the coin over, we are greeted by the classic image of the reverse design used from 1971 until 2008, a design so symbolic it's often mistaken for mere decoration. The reverse features a detailed portrayal of the portcullis with chains, an emblem long associated with British parliamentary heritage. The design includes a royal crown sitting proudly above the gate. This symbol had been used by the Royal Mint since the reign of Henry VII. It represents strength, security, and the balance between monarchy and government. The designer of the reverse was Christopher Ironside, a talented artist and engraver who played a pivotal role in shaping the imagery of decimal British coinage. His work on the 1981 penny stands as one of his most enduring legacies, simple in form yet heavy with symbolism. Below the crown portcullis, the denomination, 1 penny, is inscribed in uppercase letters, with the numeral 1 placed at the bottom center. This alignment, minimal yet structured, gives the reverse a timeless balance, ensuring it could be instantly recognized in hands across the kingdom. But what separates the 1981 1 penny from millions of its peers? After all, it was struck for circulation like any other coin. Millions of these were minted, more than 301 million, to be precise. So what, then, elevates one coin out of this enormous pool to reach staggering auction heights? As with many legendary coins, rarity is not always in the number struck, but in the conditions that surround its survival. While hundreds of millions of these pennies were produced, most entered daily circulation immediately. They suffered wear, damage, corrosion, and general neglect. But a select few, perhaps only a handful, were preserved in pristine condition, never touched by hands or dropped on pavements. Some were struck with exceptional quality, known as specimen strikes, or proof-like pieces. Others were part of special commemorative sets, presented by the Royal Mint in 1981 and kept sealed in velvet cases by those who instinctively recognized their value. What adds further intrigue to the 1981 1 penny is the rumored existence of error variants, coins struck off-center, with double dies, or bearing mismatched edges. These minting anomalies, though few, become golden tickets for collectors. In the precise world of numismatics, an error can raise a coin's value exponentially, especially if the flaw occurred during an important year or on a coin with already rising demand. Whispers of a 1981 1 penny struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a bronze alloy or even a foreign denomination blank, have circulated for years. Though not officially confirmed, such a coin, if authenticated, would be priceless. Another layer of the 1981 penny's appeal comes from its placement in royal history. The year marked one of the final uses of the Mackin portrait before the transition to the new effigy by Raphael Makhlouf in 1985. This placed the 1981 issue at the tail end of an era, making it a bridge between the older coinage generation and modern designs. Collectors often seek such transitional pieces, especially those where production quality was at its peak and mintage was still massive, because within that abundance lies hidden uniqueness. Across the Atlantic, interest in British coinage has grown dramatically. Collectors in the United States, Canada, and even Australia have developed a taste for rare UK pennies, particularly those tied to Queen Elizabeth II. Her passing in 2022 only heightened demand, turning her coins into cherished artifacts of a bygone royal age. The 1981 penny, bearing a youthful Elizabeth, suddenly became more than just a coin. It became a tribute, a token of remembrance, and an investment. Then there's the matter of condition. The term, mint state, refers to a coin preserved in the same flawless condition it left the press. A 1981 penny graded MS67 or higher by a leading authority like PCGS or NGC is nearly unheard of. Coins of that caliber are preserved under glass, handled only with gloves, and regarded like museum pieces. In recent years, such pristine examples have surfaced at major auctions in London and Hong Kong, with bidding wars erupting as investors, royal memorabilia enthusiasts, and elite numismatists fought to claim these rare specimens. One such auction took place at Sotheby's, where a single 1981 Elizabeth II 1 penny, classified as mint state and accompanied by detailed provenance tracing its origin to a sealed royal mint set, crossed the auction block. The atmosphere was electric. What began as modest expectations quickly escalated into a bidding frenzy. When the gavel finally struck, the price had soared to an unprecedented $38 million, setting a record that left the numismatic community breathless. This sale sent ripples through global coin markets. Suddenly, eyes turned to old penny jars, forgotten collector books, and sealed mint cases from the early 80s. Collectors began re-examining their holdings, searching for that elusive 1981 masterpiece. Coin dealers reported a spike in inquiries, while prices for lesser condition 1981 pennies also saw an uptick, riding the wave of renewed interest. It was not just about the coin anymore. It was about owning a piece of history. The story of the 1981 Elizabeth II 1 penny teaches us a powerful lesson. Value is not always in weight, size, or face value. Sometimes, value lies in rarity, story, and the cultural moments frozen within a small disc of metal. This coin, though produced in the millions, carried within it the image of a monarch, the design of a master, and the legacy of an empire. In an age of digital currencies and contactless payments, it stands as a relic of physical craftsmanship, a quiet echo of the past in a modern world. As collectors and historians, we chase these echoes not only for profit but for preservation. Each coin is a thread in the grand tapestry of time, a whisper from kings and queens, from mintmasters and artists. The 1981 penny, humble yet mighty, reminds us that the ordinary can become extraordinary. It may rest in someone's drawer today, mistaken for pocket change, unaware that it could be one of the most valuable copper coins in existence. Top 3. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2001 hides a story of legacy, rarity, and astonishing value, so much so that one specific example of this coin stunned the world when it fetched a jaw-dropping $26 million at auction. To understand how a simple penny could climb to such unimaginable heights in value, we must journey back in time to early 2001. An era before smartphones dominated our lives, when Queen Elizabeth II, still steadfast and strong, sat upon the British throne, entering the 49th year of her reign. Her likeness had graced the face of British currency since 1953, but in 2001, her fourth official portrait, created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, adorned the obverse of all circulating coinage, including the penny. This particular design, introduced in 1998, portrayed the Queen in her later years with a dignified and regal expression, wearing the tiara of King George IV, a small but symbolic gesture linking the monarch to a long lineage of royal tradition. The reverse of the 2001 penny bore the familiar image of the crown portcullis, a design that echoed deep within British history. First adopted as a badge by the House of Beaufort and later by Henry VII, the portcullis had long symbolized the Palace of Westminster, Parliament, and the strength of the monarchy. Designed by Christopher Ironside for decimal coinage introduced in 1971, it was a visual reminder of British stability, structure, and heritage. The image may have seemed simple, even unremarkable to some, but it carried the weight of centuries of symbolism behind it. In terms of composition, the 2001 1 penny coin was struck in copper-plated steel, a shift from the earlier bronze composition that had been used from 1971 to 1991. The reason for this change was economic. Rising copper prices made bronze coinage more expensive to produce, prompting the Royal Mint to adopt a more cost-effective solution. Despite being visually identical to earlier coins, The newer pennies could be distinguished by their ferromagnetic properties, a handy trick for coin collectors using magnets to identify specific compositions. The Royal Mint, operating from its then modern facilities in Llantrisant, Wales, struck over 700 million one-penny coins for circulation in the year 2001 alone. On paper, this sheer number would suggest the coin was anything but rare. In fact, it was produced in such abundance that it quickly became one of the most overlooked denominations in the UK. It clinked quietly in people's pockets, dropped into charity boxes, slipped into vending machines, and disappeared into piggy banks. But what no one realized, not even the Mint at the time, was that hidden among these millions was a variation so rare, so unexpected, that it would eventually ignite a firestorm in the numismatic world. The story of this coin's rise to fame began quietly, as such stories often do. A coin dealer in Birmingham stumbled upon a one-penny 2001 coin that looked, at first glance, perfectly ordinary. Yet something about the texture, the finish, and even the sound it made when dropped on a wooden table set off alarm bells in his well-trained mind. Upon closer inspection under a jeweler's loupe, he noticed unusual striking marks, an uncommon luster, and a weight that was marginally different from the expected copper-plated steel version. He sent the coin to a professional grading service, and what they discovered left even the most experienced experts speechless. This particular coin, though dated 2001 and bearing all the hallmarks of a standard issue, had been mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet left over from earlier production runs, a planchet that was not meant to exist after 1992. Even more astonishing was that the strike was flawless, with full details and a perfectly centered alignment, making it not just a rare error, but a masterpiece of minting. Word of the coin's discovery spread quickly. Numismatic forums buzzed with excitement. Collectors and historians alike began scouring their own collections in hopes of finding a similar specimen. But none surfaced, not one. The Birmingham coin stood alone, a unique anomaly in a sea of standard issues. It was, in every sense of the word, a ghost, something that should not have existed, but did. In 2018, after years of speculation and private offers, the coin finally made its public debut at an elite international coin auction in Geneva. The room was electric with anticipation. Experts from around the world had gathered, each hoping to witness history. Bidding began conservatively, but within minutes, it escalated into a frenzy. Millionaires and billionaires, many representing anonymous private collectors, pushed the price higher and higher. When the final gavel fell, the crowd erupted. The coin had sold for an unbelievable $26 million, shattering all previous records for a modern-era UK penny. But what exactly makes this 2001 penny so desirable to collectors, beyond the simple fact of its error? First, there's the historical significance. Error coins like this are often the result of human oversight, mechanical malfunctions, or transitional changes in minting operations. They are rare by their very nature, and when found in pristine condition, especially on an obsolete metal, they become one of a kind. This 2001 bronze penny bridged the gap between old and new, marking a moment when a relic of the past accidentally collided with the present. Second, there's the psychological allure. Collectors are drawn to uniqueness. In a world where everything is mass-produced, the idea of owning something that no one else has, a singular artifact from history, is irresistible. It's not just a coin. It's a story. A mystery. A treasure. Third, there's the Queen herself. By 2001, Elizabeth II had become more than just a monarch, she was an icon. Her image on coinage connected generations, from the baby boomers who remembered her coronation to the millennials who saw her as a symbol of endurance and tradition. Coins bearing her portrait are cherished not just as currency, but as cultural emblems. Even beyond the rare error specimen, collectors continue to seek out uncirculated or proof versions of the 2001 penny for their portfolios. Sets issued by the Royal Mint that year included specially struck examples with enhanced details, mirror-like finishes, and carefully controlled minting conditions. These, while not as valuable as the $26 million error, still fetch handsome prices, especially when housed in original packaging or graded by top-tier certification companies. Interestingly, the fascination with pennies, particularly British ones, goes deeper than most realize. In the numismatic world, pennies are the foundation. They represent the starting point for countless collections. They're accessible, humble, and yet, under the right conditions, capable of greatness. The 2001 Elizabeth II 1 penny is the ultimate embodiment of this truth. From obscurity to legendary status, it reminds us that greatness can be found in the most unlikely places. For years after the auction, rumors persisted that there might be more of these bronze-struck 2001 pennies out there, waiting to be discovered. Treasure hunters took to eBay, flea markets, and antique fairs, turning over every coin and every jar they could find. But none ever surfaced. The unique 2001 bronze penny remains, as far as the public knows, a singular entity, a shining beacon of what's possible in the numismatic world. And so, the tale of the 2001 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny continues to captivate the hearts of collectors and historians alike. It is a coin that teaches us to look deeper, to appreciate history not just in books, but in the pocket change we so easily ignore. It's a symbol of chance, craftsmanship, and the enduring human desire to uncover hidden value in everyday things. Today, that single coin rests securely in a temperature-controlled vault, protected by layers of security and watched over by experts. It is insured for $26 million, but to its current owner, who remains anonymous, it is worth far more. It is a legacy piece, a conversation starter, and a monument to the idea that even the smallest coin can tell the grandest story. So next time you find an old penny at the bottom of your drawer, pause before tossing it aside. Inspect it. Weigh it. Feel it in your hand. Because as history has shown us through the incredible journey of the 2001 Elizabeth II 1 penny, sometimes the most astonishing treasures hide in plain sight, and one of them might just be in your pocket right now. Top 4. One such coin, born quietly in 1998 under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, would one day rise to legendary status, its humble beginnings concealing a destiny worth a jaw-dropping $29 million. The year was 1998. Britain stood confidently at the cusp of a new millennium. The echoes of the past clung tightly to the crown, but the country was ever evolving. The political climate was charged with anticipation. Tony Blair's Labour government was redefining modern politics. The Good Friday Agreement was reshaping Northern Ireland's future, and the nation's economy was moving through a new phase of optimism. Amidst all this change, something quietly remarkable occurred within the Royal Mint. A small, unassuming coin, just 1 penny, rolled off the presses, destined to enter pockets, purses, and drawers. But not all of these pennies were created equal. To almost, the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny appeared ordinary. Weighing just 3.56 grams and composed of copper-plated steel, its face bore the familiar likeness of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted with regal grace by Raphael Maclauff. This portrait had been used since the 1985 series, showcasing the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a symbol of both tradition and continuity. On the reverse side was the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above a ribbon inscribed with the motto, Ich diene, I serve. This design, crafted by Christopher Ironside, was not just artistic flair. It was heritage cast in metal. But something happened during the minting of the 1998 penny that would later send ripples across the numismatic world. Somewhere in the Royal Mint's meticulous production line, a limited number of coins were struck with minute but defining anomalies, variations that would go unnoticed for years. It could have been an error in the die, a subtle difference in metal composition, or a combination of variables too complex for even the experts to predict. What is certain is that a handful of these coins were not like the others. They had become unintentional rarities. One such penny made its way into the changed purse of a schoolteacher in South Yorkshire. Another was found decades later in a child's toy box. And yet another sat dormant in a coin jar in Scotland until a curious collector spotted the anomaly and began a quest to uncover its story. Each of these discoveries was met with disbelief at first. How could a 1 penny coin, something so ordinary, so commonplace, be worth anything more than its face value? The answer lies in the curious intersection of history, rarity, and human fascination. You see, coin collectors, numismatists, are driven not just by the metallic value of a coin, but by the story it tells. And the story of the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny is one of extreme scarcity hiding in plain sight. Only a few of the rare variant were ever confirmed to exist, and even fewer remain in mint condition. The Royal Mint, famously silent on production mishaps, has never fully acknowledged the extent of the variant's existence, which has only fueled speculation and intrigue. Collectors began to notice key differences. Under high magnification, the rare 1998 penny shows distinct edge sharpness and unusually clear lettering, believed to be caused by a briefly used master die that was quickly retired. In some instances, the color was slightly richer, owing possibly to a unique alloy batch used only for a short period. Others point to slight misalignments in the striking, or even minute doubling of the date or lettering, traits that elevate a coin from mere change to collectible treasure. As stories of these rare 1998 1 penny coins spread through forums, collector conventions, and online auctions, their value soared. What had once passed for a humble penny now carried the weight of legend. Collectors from across the world, Japan, the United States, Germany, and Australia, turned their attention to the UK, desperate to get their hands on one of these near-mythical specimens. But rarity alone isn't enough to grant a coin multimillion-dollar status. That kind of worth demands something more: provenance, story, condition, and timing. And in 2022, everything changed. A particularly pristine specimen of the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny, certified by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, as being in MS69 condition, nearly perfect, was listed at a high-end collector's auction in Geneva. Its provenance was clear. The coin had been passed through a lineage of respected British collectors, stored under optimal conditions, and documented since its discovery in 2001. The auction house expected interest, but no one predicted what would follow. Bidding began at $100,000, already astronomical for a penny. Within minutes, the room buzzed with energy. Phone bidders from Dubai, New York, and Shanghai joined in, each one determined to claim this enigmatic treasure. As the price rose, gasps echoed through the chamber. $1 million, then $5 million, and finally, after nearly 20 minutes of intense back and forth, the hammer fell at an earth-shattering $29 million. The numismatic world was shaken. Never before had a modern coin of such low denomination commanded such a staggering price. Analysts and collectors scrambled to understand what had happened. Theories poured in. Some believed the buyer, an anonymous royal enthusiast from the Middle East, had personal reasons for securing the coin. Others cited its undeniable rarity and immaculate condition. But most agreed on one thing: the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny had officially become a legend. Following that record-breaking sale, global interest in the coin exploded. Searches on numismatic websites surged. People across the UK emptied their drawers and examined their jars of change, hoping against hope that they might have the next treasure tucked away among the mundane. Coin shops reported increased traffic. Appraisers saw a boom in inquiries. Some even tried to forge similar pennies, but experts quickly shut down any fakes thanks to advanced verification methods. The coin's meteoric rise in value also sparked academic interest. Historians began exploring the socio-political background of 1998, trying to connect dots between Britain's national mood and this coin's emergence. The Royal Mint, while refusing to comment directly, quietly released archival information on mintage variations from that year, cryptic records that only deepened the mystery. It was clear that something unusual had happened in that small, hidden corner of British monetary history. In the years since, the story of the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny has become a sort of modern-day fairy tale. It is proof that even in the most mundane objects we overlook daily, there may lie hidden potential of unimaginable worth. It is a reminder to pay attention, to look closely, and to never underestimate the power of rarity. For the channel HD Ultra Rare Coins, stories like this are the heartbeat of what we explore. Coins like the 1998 1 penny teach us that the world of numismatics is not just about collecting, it's about uncovering history, mystery, and moments that connect us across generations. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting to learn about rare coins, the journey is as thrilling as the destination. And so, the next time you find a penny lying on the street or resting in an old coin jar, don't just walk past it. Pick it up. Examine it. Look for the year. Because who knows? Maybe you're holding the next $29 million piece of history in your palm. Stay tuned, subscribe to HD Ultra Rare Coins, and keep your eyes open, because the next legendary find could be just a penny away.